Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says yo.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast, where we have a lot to talk about today, Donnie. Oh my goodness, how are you?
I'm doing well. Greetings, Kooplings. Welcome to Shack Sundays. I'm excited. I'm excited for the show today. I've been looking forward to it. I had a very enjoyable evening with my Switch yesterday.
Oh,
I was
good.
just like, this is great. This is great. Just wanted to make a TikTok. This is perfect.
This is
Perfect.
I love it. And yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, some predictions for some stuff coming up. A lot of happening lately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what have you been playing this week before we get into the news?
So I've been playing Kirby and Metroid Prime. What a great week to get both of them. I know I'm way behind the rest of the internet that has already played Metroid Prime and beat it.
Well, no, because I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people this past week, myself included, finally getting their physical editions.
Yes.
Which it's been hard to get it. I don't know if it's because they didn't think that this many people would want physical copies, or it's really selling beyond what we expected, or maybe a little bit of both. I got mine the day after release. I got it from Target. I did that buy one, get one 50% off or whatever.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, so I got mine. I booted it up. I'm not planning to replay the whole thing just because I played it for the first time recently, like maybe a year or two ago. And but I wanted the physical game for my collection, and I just booted it up just to see it, and it is gorgeous. And I love the options. I want to hear your thoughts of what you've played so far, but just the more options that they give for the controls. I kind of wish that this was how I played it for the first time.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. I mean, for me, my experience is that I'm really happy. I was telling Jack last night, I was like, man, Jack's not into Metroid. And to be fair, I mean, Metroid isn't my favorite franchise either. And I was telling him, I was like, you got to play it. Like, you've got to play Metroid Prime. He's like, why? I was like, because it's one of the best video games that's ever been made. I was like, this is from an era back when, and I hope Nintendo fans understand the gist of what I'm about to say. This is back when they used to make badass video games. They still make really good video games, but I think you could probably argue that they don't make badass video games. And Metroid Prime was a badass video game, man.
I don't know. Tears of the Kingdom. It's looking like it might be pretty badass.
It might be. Jack was like, yeah, like Twilight Princess. I was like, yeah, same era. Back when Nintendo used to make badass video games. I'm smitten by how good it is. I'm not lying. And it's honestly, it's not even the visuals. It's just, it's been so long since I've played it. I played it for the first time on Wii. Again, I was never really that into Metroid. So I wasn't that interested when it came out on GameCube. I was playing Call of Duty and stuff. And when it came out on Wii, I got the trilogy. And I was like, all right, I'll finally play. I'll get into this. It's a great deal. You get multiple games. And I loved it. And I kind of ran into a similar experiences on Wii where the motion controls I really adapted to. I know most people hate them or make fun of them now. Like, I still to this day think Resident Evil 4 is best played on Wii. Because I like the pointer controls. I was always into light gun games, and I thought the Wii nunchuck combo was a great fit for that style. I played Call of Duty games on Wii, so I adapted really well to shooter mechanics on Wii, and it was a great fit for me in Metroid. This is the only Metroid game that I would ever say that I like truly loved. I've never really been into Metroid. Metroid or Return of Samus and all those. I've played them and I've enjoyed them here and there, but it's not something that I've really went hard for. But Metroid Prime fits the boat, and it's so good. It just reminds me, because I haven't played it since the Wii U re-release, which like
That's all do.
Yeah, like we all do on Virtual Console. What do? We play it for a couple hours, we get our fill of nostalgia, and we keep it moving, probably more often than not. So I didn't play the whole thing. And I'm already through, I forget the name of the area, but I've already got my Varia suit, and I'm already through most of like the volcano, the heat oven areas and all that. And
Yeah.
I'm just, how good is this damn video game? Like, it's all these morph ball puzzles and the blend between 3D, first person, and side scrolling, or 2D or top down, and all the different puzzles. I'm just like, man, it is so
Is it
good.
beautiful?
Yes,
Does it have
it's
your seal of
absolutely
approval?
beautiful. It's gorgeous. I think there's a part of me that says I think it might be best in handheld or OLED. The pixel density and the shortening of the screen does hide some things. It's still really nice. I'm playing on the 4K screen. On the 4K screen, you can just kind of see like more. You can see more of the textures and things like that. But at the same time, I wouldn't take anything away from it. It is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful to play. And it just, yeah, man, it gives me. I remember back then. This is back when I used to go to GameStop and just argue with people about games. Before we had podcasts, Rebecca. Before we had podcasts.
That's what you went and did.
Yeah, I just remember during the Wii days, I was like, man, you've got to get Metroid Prime. Like, what are you talking about? Halo? Like, what Halo?
A lot of people didn't even know what Metroid was until like Smash Brawl.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when a lot
Jack's
of people started
really
to know.
only, because he's tried to play Super Metroid and he quit on it, and he couldn't get a quarter of the way through Dread, so he's never really been into Metroid games. And I keep trying to tell him, like, this is the one though, like this one's special. He watched me beat, I forget the name of the boss, Flagora or whatever, the big plant with the satellites and all that. He watched me beat that last night. And I was like, I'm telling you, you like shooters, man. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. You should.
And he's not buying it.
And I'm like, they're gonna drop 2, and they're gonna drop 3, and eventually 4 is gonna come, and who knows how good 4 could be. I mean, I've said this before. I think this is what Metroid should be. I'm not opposed to having like a traditional 2D Metroid game, but like for me, like this is what the franchise should be. This should be Metroid, and the spin-off should be like the 2D thing. I just think it appeals to more people. We'll see.
I think both can exist. Why does one have to be a spinoff?
I'm with you.
You don't say that for Zelda.
But we get so many more. We have had historically so many more of the other types of Metroid games since Prime.
Because it takes longer to develop Primes, and they haven't done that well.
Yeah, I know. It's just me wanting more of the things that I like.
Yeah, that's
so fair. I will tell you, this reinvigorated like my hype for Metroid 4. Like Prime 4, which I've had on pre-order since GCU was a thing.
I still have my GCU pre-order.
It's like I see it every time I log into Best Buy. It's like
$40.
Yeah, just like I'm gonna capitalize on this one day.
Whoever fulfills that order is gonna be like, what? Like,
yeah.
How did you get this for $40 in like 2019?
What if they mark it 70?
Yeah. Oh
I hope one day they I don't know. I hope after 4 we don't wait like another 20 years. Yeah, I guess is more or less what I'm saying. I think Metroid Prime, I hope it sells well, because like you're saying, if Metroid Prime is flying off the shelves, if it does a number, like hopefully that is like validation to Nintendo to be like, hey, this more than that. That can still happen, but this sells. This sells. Like that's ultimately what I'm really hoping. Ultimately what I'm trying to say.
More mainstream kind of like casual players are more into the 3D than the 2D.
Yeah.
Just because they're like not as hard.
It's a tough sell, and we see it. It's not just a Metroid thing. Like we saw similar things with Ori. We see similar things with all kinds of games like that. It's a niche title, and the fans that love those things really love them. And I'm not opposed to the genre. It's just the genre doesn't appeal to a large amount of consumers, whereas I think a shooting-based action game does. And it's still very, that's the beauty of it. It's still very, very Metroid. You're still going to do your backtracking. You're still going to go back to areas that you've already beaten because you've got new weapons and new things. You access new areas. Like, you're still going to do all of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it looks so damn cool, Rebecca. Samus looks so cool.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, this now, is the game we want.
You heard the rumblings from our good friend, Mr. Grubb, saying how 2 and 3 will be also remastered, but not as good looking as this one. It won't be like as polished. I hope they still at least look nice and have kind of the same quality of life stuff with like the controls and like some, fixes and stuff like that.
Do you think that might be the reason why it was released in a budget option?
Yeah.
Maybe if they do all 3 at 40, because they're not doing so much with 2 and 3 that they think it's like cost
Probably.
correcting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. But I will get 2 and 3 on the Switch because I haven't played them, so I'll get them for the collection and then hopefully play through them before Prime 4 comes out.
I'm pretty sure I never beat 3. I think I got through 2, but I'm pretty sure I never beat 3.
Yeah.
I think by the time I got to 3, I was just already on to other things. That's another thing I was thinking about. I think there might be a silver lining, at least for me, with the trilogy, because when I got the trilogy the first time, I never finished all 3. And when I got the trilogy the second time, I never finished all 3. And by releasing,
but it didn't matter because you were getting the other 2 for $20.
Oh, of course, no, I didn't care that I didn't finish all 3. I just, I played my fill. I mean, everybody knows me with video games. I can't be playing. It takes a very special game for me to just keep playing, like long. I get bored and I want to play something else. And I've always been that way, hot from game to game. And I've never finished the whole trilogy. And there's like a silver lining here to them possibly releasing them in installments, is that I can focus on one, for 8 to 15 hours, however long it takes, and then go play some other things, and then come back to it and play the next one, and then come back to it and play the third one. That is actually a nice. I was thinking about that. I was like, that's a nice little way of releasing that trilogy. I think I would prefer them to do that as opposed to be like, here's all 3. Because then I feel like I'd be rushing to get through them all, or another game comes, like Kirby comes out or something, I start playing something else, and I just never make my way back to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I am digging it. It's very special. It's a very special game.
Good.
And the remaster treatment is very nice, and it's just, man, I'm really glad it's here. And I'm also playing Kirby.
Yeah, tell us about Kirby.
Kirby's great. I mean, it's just great. It's super whimsical and charming and all the Kirby things. There's tons of challenge menus and unlocks and games you can unlock and stuff as you collect power spheres, which are like these gears that you collect through the levels, and every level has 3 of them. You got to find all the hidden levels. And it is exactly what you think it is. It is like Nintendo's bread and butter 2D side-scrolling platforming collectathon game done well. I love the new Kirby game. It's got really great power-ups, some that I'm not even sure if they were in the original. Or
I know they added quite a bit of new content as far as power-ups and like mini games and stuff like that.
And the levels are well designed where these hidden, sometimes you need certain power-ups to access certain areas to get the spheres and stuff that you want. So you've got to a lot of times I think it begs replayability because you won't know it until you get there and you're like, man, I wish I would have catch such and such. I'm through the second world. I've only played it a couple times in and around Prime. I was going to just play Kirby, and then I was just going to play Prime, and I was like, I want to kind of play both. So I've been juggling games this week. And I've also been like on vacation, and the wife and I went out, and then I went and saw family and friends, and so I haven't been playing as much as I probably would like to.
That's fair.
But
I have a friend who already 100%ed Kirby.
Wow.
Yeah.
100%ed Kirby.
Played for like 8 hours on Friday and then
That's
a bunch more on
impressive.
Saturday. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played Kirby games to like 100%. I think that would give me an added level of, I don't know, stress.
Yeah. Which Kirby games are not supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's why I like them. That is honestly why I like them. They're so chill. Kirby's so cute. He's so funny. And his power-ups are so good. And to the folks that hate on Kirby, and I know they're all out there, they don't realize like how much Mario pulls from the Kirby series. Like how many things they try. And my favorite thing about Kirby is Kirby gives you like these huge power trips with certain things, and it never gets old. And they're in here too. You get these like huge power-ups where you can just blow up the whole level, and it's very Smash-like, and characters come and they hit the screen and everything's falling and it's on fire, and I'm like, man, this is great. This is so much fun. So I'm enjoying Kirby.
Good.
I also took advantage of that Target deal you spoke of, and I was picking up some things, and one of the things I picked up was Nier Automata. I really liked this game when it released. I had played at least one run. You're supposed to play, it's got like, I don't know, like 9 endings or whatever. I just did the one. But I wanted to see how it made its transition to Switch. I had heard good things when it was released, and it is a game that I wanted to replay soon. I actually I've had it on my Steam wish list waiting on a good sale.
I didn't know that you liked that series.
I don't think I like the series. I never played Nier Replicant. Nier Automata was the first game I ever played in it, and it's the only game that I liked. But I really like that game. I think Garrett said a similar thing. He's like, I don't think I expect you to play this game. And
yeah, doesn't seem like a Donnie game.
Why?
I don't know. It just doesn't. Like, you're not. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, to me, it's very like Metal Gear. It's a scantily clad woman with a sword. It's open world. It's action combat. I mean, I'm like, what's not to like?
I know. I want to play it because I like 2B.
For me, it feels very much like a game that I would be into, which is why I got it the first time. I was like, this looks, and I love how the game transitions. It'll transition to all kinds of different game styles. You might be playing, the majority of the game is like this open world, but you'll get in these side-scrolling combat arenas. You'll have like bullet hell, like shoot 'em up styles where you're like in ships and stuff. I mean, it's really good. But here's the important part, Rebecca. This might be the best port to Switch I've ever played. It's fantastic. I mean, it is.
Should I get it?
Really good. Yeah, you should. It's really good on Switch. I can see where they've cut things, and that's fine. It does not detract from the experience
I
at
don't
all.
care about that stuff. Yeah.
I know you don't, but I'm here to tell you, like, if you hadn't played the other version, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't even notice.
You wouldn't notice. Yeah, like you wouldn't know. Like it's so minimal. You're like, when I'm playing it, I'm like, yeah, there's the whole game. Like the whole game is here. It runs well. It looks great. And especially on the OLED. I mean, it really looks really nice on the OLED. A lot of things pop, specifically fire and sparks and like industrial things. I mean, it's really nice. Just an incredible port. I was just playing it and I was like, wow, like this is one of those impossible port type games that we've heard about. Every so often Switch gets something that puts other ports to shame. We were like, what are you guys doing? If Nier Automata can run like this, what is your excuse?
Did the developers port it themselves or did they outsource it?
That's a great question. I didn't even look into it. Like I honestly didn't even. It's a good question. I didn't even think about it. I just played it. Like I just got it and I just played maybe the first 2 hours. And I was just like, this is fantastic. So when I'm ready to actually sit down and replay the game, I will be replaying it on Switch.
Nice.
I'm going to be doing Prime and Kirby and stuff first. Like I'm in no rush to actually go through and play it. But when I am ready to play it, I'll be playing it on Switch. And I was excited. I was excited that it came over that way. One thing that I did want to talk to you about that I completely forgot about on Prime is I messed with the controls a little bit. You'd mentioned all the different controls. There are nice different control options. You have classic controls. You've got pointer controls. You've got new dual stick controls. But for whatever reason, the new controls just didn't fit how I thought it would be, or like how I would have done the controls. And I was a little upset that you can't remap things in game. But then I remembered
there's not too many Nintendo games that do let you do that.
Yeah, and they let you like flip some buttons or like just basically exchange them. You get like the Breath of the Wild, like would you like to use X instead of but I did remember that you can override all controls in the Switch menu. So I created a profile for Prime. And what I wanted to do is I wanted the scan button to be left bumper instead of the right. It's the right D-pad. I wanted it to be left bumper. So basically, because you scan with left trigger.
Yeah.
So I basically wanted to turn scan on, left bumper, to scan with left trigger.
Like L1?
Yeah, L1.
Okay.
Yeah, so L1 goes to scan. ZL does the actual scanning, and then right trigger.
What does L1 normally do?
Just another jump button. It's a double jump button.
Oh,
you can jump with B, or you can jump with L1. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Because if you, or at least to me, it didn't make any sense. Because here, let me grab a controller.
Right, because I don't think an L1 existed on the GameCube.
Yeah, so like for me, if I was playing, I would have to hit R D-pad to turn on the scan function, then hold ZL to scan, then to get off of scan, you can't hit either one of those buttons. You got to hit an attack button to take you back to the combat.
Right, yeah, I just was shooting to get rid of it.
So I wanted to put it all on the triggers, like all on the triggers and the bumpers. I just wanted it all up there. I was like, I don't want to be playing with all this stuff down here. So I wanted to put all up there. And then I moved the missiles to R. Again, get everything onto the triggers as much as possible to make it play more like a shooter. That's ultimately like when I was playing, I was like, this is weird. Shooters don't play like this. You don't hit like a face button and then a D-pad button and then a trigger and then another trigger to like cycle through these things. So I was glad that I could do it manually. And it was nice that I think this is the first time that I've ever actually saved a profile. where I was like, here's how I play Prime. This is Donnie's Prime profile. And when I play Prime, we're going to play it like this. And hopefully that'll help me, through upcoming games, through Prime 2.
Okay, good. I might have to check that out if I mess around with the game some more.
Yeah. I wrote this down. I'm having a weird Switch issue. I don't think you can help me with it, but maybe somebody out there can, or maybe you've had a similar issue, or maybe it's just me. I have a mesh network for my internet. Like I've got pods that are all around my house, and suddenly my Switch won't connect to that Wi-Fi. When I try to connect to it, it tells me that my console IP address is already connected. And I've wiped it, and I've gone in and deleted it, and I tried to reconnect it, and I've cleared the settings, and I tried to redo it, and it just won't work. And I've been having kind of general networking issues with my Switch, because I'm also having issues with the save states. I just turned them off, because the other day I was trying to play, I think, Game Boy, and it saw there was a discrepancy with my Switch cloud, with my save cloud, and it just sat there and spun.
What?
Endlessly for minutes. I was like, what is going on? So I've been having these weird network issues.
No, I've never had that happen.
Sean, I can turn myself up. Let me know. I thought it maybe was way different. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I connected to my Wi-Fi card that I have from work. Works totally fine. But whatever it is on my mesh network. Seems to be causing me issues. So if anybody out there also is on the Google Home or any of the pods or anything like that, please let me know.
So are you not, I don't even know what a mesh network is. You're able to connect to other networks, but not your home one?
So the mesh network is, you're familiar with the Google pods? There's another
not
one.
At all.
There's another one out there that people use more often. I just don't remember what the name of it is. But there are these pods, these network pods that you can connect to your router. So essentially, if you have dry spots in your house, you can put these pods and they boost the internet signal. So It basically gives you multiple routers. You go from having one router to having 5 routers, and they're all interconnected. And every device in my entire home connects to this mesh network. And this is the first time I've ever had an issue. I've never had an issue with any console ever. Now I did realize the Switch had a recent update, and I'm wondering if maybe something changed.
Maybe. Somebody in chat is saying that it sounds more like a problem on the network side rather than your Switch if it's handing out the IP address to more than one device.
Could be. But I went into my network and I deleted it. I can see all the devices, and I cleared the history and reconnected everything, and it's still doing it.
Weird.
Now, the thing is, I can bypass it and go directly to my router, but I'd rather not, because that's the whole point of having the home network, is that I can freely move around the house and stay connected. So, yeah. It was weird.
I hope you figure it out, because that sounds annoying.
It is, and I thought maybe if I put it out on the podcast, maybe somebody else is having a similar issue or has seen an issue, and they can, point me in the right direction. But
well, good luck. I hope somebody reaches out. Anything else before we jump into the news from this week?
No, that's all it from me. What about you?
Oh, right. I didn't even say what I've been up to. Oh, my gosh. I haven't been playing my Switch as much besides just my usual, kind of games that I've been picking up and playing every once in a while. But I did finally do the thing with my 3DS. I did the crimes.
Do crimes.
It was I know it's memed to death how easy it is, but it was so easy to do the hacking.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
So I downloaded my games and I downloaded my themes. I have a Grizzco game theme from Splatoon right now. It's very, very awesome. Nice. I have a Taylor Swift theme. I have all these cool themes going on, all these games. So I've just been messing around with it. The games take forever to download. I was not ready for that part. But I'm getting all my virtual console stuff. I'm getting all the stuff that I normally would not buy, but want to play. I downloaded Detective Pikachu. I'm going to try that out. Downloaded some Kirby stuff. I tried Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. Oh my gosh, where has Rhythm Heaven been all my life?
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yes.
I brushed it off as like a lesser good WarioWare all these years, but it's so much fun. I'm gonna play some more of that.
I've went hard for Rhythm Heaven for years, and I feel like nobody has ever listened to me.
I'm gonna play the whole game because it's so cool. It's very
That's
fun.
like my obscure Nintendo game. That's my golden son. Like Rhythm Heaven is my one of those. Where I'm like, y'all need to
do not be nervous to mod your 3. There's literally nothing to be nervous about. Also, all my save files and stuff. It's like you can still get it. It's like so easy. It's literally so. There's nothing that you can do wrong. Do not be nervous. You will wish you did it years ago. It's so much easier than hacking the Switch. Like the Switch was fine. Like I had no problems with the Switch, but like the whole time I'm like, oh my God, like this is so streamlined. Like all the UIs are easy to understand. Like you don't need to be smart. You don't need to be like whatever.
The 3DS is very similar to like hacking like one of the NES minis. It's not very.
It's even easier than that, to be honest.
It's pretty simple.
It's the easiest thing that I have hacked. But I also want to try Ace Attorney for the first time. I want to try Shin Megami Tensei for the first time. I downloaded Yoshi's Woolly World because I love that game and I never finished it. Yeah. This is all stuff that I'll just pick up and play like casually. I'll probably will play it more during the summer when I have off and I'm like looking for like stuff just to mess with.
No Fire Emblems.
No Fire Emblems. But I can. Maybe I will someday. We'll see.
You're gonna play Shin Megami Tensei.
No, I'm not gonna play Shin Megami Tensei, but I want to like boot it up and see what it's all about. Like that's stuff that like I wouldn't buy because like I know I'm not gonna play it, but like I want to experience it. You know what I mean? So that was my little project. Didn't really get into like any games like super much, but it's just what I needed to do because, and I'm gonna like kind of skip ahead to our news here, but just a reminder that the 3DS and Wii U eShop are permanently closing in exactly 1 month. 1 month and 1 day.
Yep. They're
closing on March 27th. Right now, you can only buy games from either of those eShops by adding funds from your Switch. If you have any interest in Pokemon, I highly recommend you download Pokemon Bank because it will be free to use. You won't have to pay the $5 a month. That's the only way to get Pokemon from 3DS to your Switch. Or you can hack your 3DS. It's
there you go.
Very easy. And I think
crimes.
That's better to do.
Yeah.
It's know your rights.
I hacked mine a couple years ago and I love when I boot it up, I have to wait like 2 minutes before I can even use it. Because we have so many games that load on the home screen all the tiles. Like we just have to wait to let it load.
Oh my God. Yeah. Do it. You will be glad. But that's what I've been doing. In a month. My birthday is the day the eShop closes.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
So that's how I remember it because happy birthday to me. The eShop is gone.
So my birthday is on Mario Day. They're probably going to announce something cool and awesome, and then your birthday, they're going to shut down all the shops.
Europe.
Nintendo Shack.
Nintendo Shack. Speaking of Pokemon, though, we have a Pokemon Presents coming tomorrow, February 27th. Pokemon on Twitter, they tweeted that the next Pokemon Presents is on its way. Trainers, tune in to our official YouTube channel at 6 a.m. PST. That's 9 a.m. for those of us on the Best Coast. On
real time, yeah.
Real time. For about 20 minutes of exciting Pokemon news in celebration of Pokemon Day 2023. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen, right, Donnie?
Yeah, absolutely. The audacity of putting out a press release or a tweet or anything referencing 6 a.m. Pacific time. It's like, hey, all of you get up at 6 a.m. to watch this Pokemon trailer. It's like, get out of here with that shit.
That's why the East Coast is the best. We don't have to wake up at like an outrageous time for all these announcements.
It's like it's as
for
if
20
somebody,
minutes.
It should have dawned on them to be like, hey, maybe not. Let's not do it. Like when you write it out like that at 6 a.m., it's like, let's push it back a little. Let's do it at 12 Eastern.
No, because the time has to work out with Japan too. What time is that Japan?
That's true.
Let me see. 6 a.m.
Yeah, because they do have to do it all at once, or then Pokemon fans will feel spoiled.
It's at 11 p.m. for Japan, so they can't do it too much later than that.
Yeah, they're gonna stay up all night.
So I feel like that's, the give and take there.
We're so invested. But, we're like, just get up at 6 to watch the Pokemon trailer, and people are like, "Yep, I'll do that."
just move to the East Coast.
That's true. Yeah, you could just do
That's
that.
their fault.
Upend your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Planning around Pokemon releases.
Nintendo announcements. Pokemon is like very active on Twitter right now, stealing people's pictures. I posted mine. I hope they steal my picture. You can give away your rights, and they're going to make like a mosaic of Pokemon together, people's Pokemon pictures throughout the years.
Becca,
it'll be cool. What?
I wouldn't know.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't know. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Oh, right, because you're gone. You're gone on Twitter. I bullied you off of Twitter.
That's it. Had to run.
Yeah. But so Kyle wrote in, what's one realistic wish you would like to see with the Pokemon Presents this Monday?
So I asked Jack this last night. I asked him both these questions when they came in, and Jack said his realistic wish is for DLC for Scarlet and Violet.
Well, he's going to get that.
Yeah, I think that's
going to happen.
Pretty fair. He's very excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
My realistic wish is, probably the Game Boy thing. I want to say something bigger, like the Pokemon Home integration into Nintendo Switch Online. But I feel like that's a reach. Like anytime, like I would never expect Nintendo or the Pokemon Company, like save people money. Like that's the hard part. That's the leap that I'm like afraid to make. I'm like, nah, they're not going to save anybody a couple bucks. That's not going to happen. So I will just say the Game Boy games.
Yeah. My realistic wish is that I want the DLC to actually be something that I'm interested in playing. That it's like actually something where I'll be like, yeah, like this actually looks cool. Like I want to play this again. Not just like an obligation that I'm like, oh, because I felt like the Isle of Armor and stuff, like, I don't know. I wasn't like super into that. Like it was cool, but it didn't really get me like super excited to jump back into Sword and Shield. I don't even think I finished the second part of that DLC, but I don't want something like that. I want something good. I also want them to put more old Pokemon back into the game because my beloved Ninetales is not in Scarlet and Violet, and I would like it to be.
I mean, you're not getting any resistance from me. I don't understand why we keep making Pokemon. I was good with like the first 400 or so. Like, let's just do that. So I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm. Kyle also wants to know what will not be likely to be shown during the presentation.
I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think I'm gonna get a spin-off game that I want. I think we're gonna get a spin-off game. It was mentioned in the chat, and we talked about last week. The rumors around that we're getting a Mystery Dungeon game. That's not it. Like that's not what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
But anything that I would like a Quest, a Rumble, anything like that. I don't think we're gonna get anything like that.
I don't think so either. I think that would be my answer too. I don't know. I feel like we're expecting a lot of givens. Like I see people in chat with some really good guesses. Like
and
I feel like DLC is a given, right? Obviously.
I think that's a given. I think Stadium
Detective
is a
Pikachu
given.
too. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, right? Stadium on NSO is a give, like is something to expect. People are saying Detective Pikachu 2. I mean, we know about it. Where is it? Like, sure, it makes sense. Gen 1, Gen 2, even Gen 3 for NSO. Like, again, it makes sense. But can we really have all of this stuff? I don't know. Like,
it sounds greedy.
It's only 20 minutes.
It feels greedy coming from the Pokemon Company. It feels
all
greedy.
Of it makes sense, but like,
they're going to do like 7 minutes of that trailer is going to be like some nostalgic video of just people playing Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It won't even be about any actual announcements.
20 minutes is not a long time.
It feels a little greedy for me to expect all of those things. And that's why I'm a little hesitant. I don't want to get excited for anything. I think 64 is a given. I think DLC is a given. I think the Game Boy games, like the time is now. Like it's right there for them to do it. Are they going to do it? I don't know. They could save it. They could save it for another day. It doesn't have to happen now.
It's a big ask.
They might think it takes away from the DLC announcement. It's possible. Because I honestly think it would. I think the announcement of the Game Boy games coming to the NSO will be huge news. That'll be like the biggest
Mhm.
news of everything they could announce. That'll be the biggest news. That'll be what like catches on.
Yeah.
And they may not want to do that while they're announcing their DLC. You know, they may want to save that for another day.
We won't see another major like Legends type of game or a Let's Go type of game. I don't think we'll see anything like that in this presentation.
So Logan asked, what was your dream reveal? And that was Jack's. Jack wanted a new mainline series game, which he said was either a remaster or like an Arceus or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool. I would like that.
My dream would be full backwards compatibility, like as much as they can give you. Like that would be the dream. Red, yellow, blue, gold, silver. What were the GBA ones? Emerald?
It's Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Like if they just went full blow, here's our entire back catalog and it works in Nintendo Switch Online and Stadium and it works and you can transfer, like that's it. That's the dream scenario.
That would be the dream. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
I would love a brand new Pokemon pinball game. I feel like this is going to be my new ask now that I finally got a new Pokemon Snap. My new dream thing is going to be, hey, I love Snap. Don't diss it. I wanted that for 20 years and they finally gave it to me.
Not new Snap though.
Well, I do. But my new ask is a new Pokemon pinball. I'm sure they'll eventually put Pokemon pinball on NSO, the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance.
Was the regular
ones.
Snap on NSO?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So I would like that with, the ability to catch all 1,000 and some Pokemon in the Pokemon pinball game.
Nice.
It's a dream reveal.
Nice.
Yeah. And that was from Logan, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Just some other smaller Pokemon news. They're teasing some more stuff about the new Pokemon anime. You heard about this, right? About how their next season of the anime is not going to have Ash anymore.
Yeah.
They're doing like kind of a new wave of the anime. Well, of course, they have to have Pikachu involved somehow. So they introduced a new main character of this anime. His name is like Freya or something, but he has a Pikachu that is Captain Pikachu. It is just a really cute Pikachu with a captain hat. And it'll be
I didn't
one of the
know
main
about
characters.
this, but when you put it on the notes, I Googled it. I saw it, the little captain. So the new main character also carries around Pikachu? Like that was...
So this isn't like the main character.
Okay.
This is like going to be like a Brock type of person, like someone traveling with them.
I don't have anything to really add to this. I haven't watched the Pokemon show in quite some time, but the idea definitely made me like seeing Captain Pikachu made me think of Cap'n from Animal Crossing. And I wanted to ask you, would you be excited for a Pokemon themed Animal Crossing game?
Yes.
How has that not happened yet? That totally sounds like a huge moneymaker.
Or if they even just put Pokemon villagers into Animal Crossing.
Oh, for sure. But I was just thinking
that would be a hit.
We always think of these spin-off games, and I'm like, how has Nintendo never thought to do Pokemon Animal Crossing? People would eat that alive.
Yeah, they would.
If you could collect all of your Pokemon as villagers and make them do little
like a sim, like a Pokemon sim.
Oh my god, that would make all the money. That's a brilliant idea. Like and all it took was me to see this Pikachu with the captain hat on. And I was like, how has this never happened? Like,
That'd be good. Okay, so moving on from Pokemon, some other big news from the week that Microsoft has signed a 10-year deal to bring Call of Duty games to Nintendo platforms if the Activision Blizzard deal goes through. Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, has tweeted this morning that they have now signed a binding 10-year contract. But again, so it can't be binding. It's binding if the deal goes through. Right? Okay.
It's contingent on the deal being
because I didn't see anybody talking saying the word contingent or assuming it goes through, but that's obviously what it is.
Yeah. That might be why, because it's obvious. Now the deal that they did with NVIDIA actually went into work immediately because it's not contingent on the deal going through. Yeah, but this one is.
Yeah. signing a binding 10-year contract with Nintendo to bring the popular Call of Duty games to the Nintendo platforms. Now, notice they said platforms. They didn't say Nintendo Switch.
Correct.
The deal will see Call of Duty games release day and date with Xbox and PlayStation Call of Duty games. The games will also have the same features and content parity as the aforementioned platforms.
They also didn't mention a specific start date. So if this deal is processed like, I don't know, let's just say in May, let's say the deal goes through. That doesn't mean the next Call of Duty game is going to come to Switch. It also doesn't mean the next Call of Duty game is going to Switch. And it may not mean the next Call of Duty. Like it
Wait,
doesn't,
why not?
Because they didn't, the deal, if you read further into it, like some of the other reporting that I've seen it, like VGC, Eurogamer, the further you start to dig into it, some people were able to get in questions at this briefing, and they asked them they tried to get dates, like when does this deal start? And it's very vague. They're like, we have a deal with Nintendo that it'll start like basically like when it makes sense to start, which it really reads as it will start when Nintendo ships a new console. Like that's an easy way to read it. But there's no commitment to like which game it will start with.
Right.
So just, just put that out there. It's kind of vague when it starts, but there will be a 10-year agreement that Nintendo can enact to bring Call of Duty games to whatever it's called.
I feel like if it is on the Switch, we only see cloud versions of whatever it is.
I think that would be best because, I don't think you want the opposite of that. I don't think you want a native Call of Duty experience on Switch. I don't think that's what anybody wants. I think that would be such a downgrade that more people would be upset with that.
And then because they're not using the word Switch, it makes me think that this is like more for whatever comes next that they have knowledge of that we don't. Which may not need a cloud version, but still probably maybe. Who knows?
So I really hope this comes through. I love Call of Duty, and I really would love Call of Duty to come to Switch. I think there's several different avenues that Call of Duty can be very successful on Switch. But I will say it. Let's just get there first. Dream scenario, you put the Game Pass app on Switch. That's like dreams. That's the easiest way to get this done. Just here's Game Pass. I think the hard part will be if Nintendo says, hey, you've got to make a cloud version, but we want to sell it and we want you to use our cloud provider. Like that's going to be a problem. But Microsoft has their own cloud platform. And if Nintendo will just make, an avenue for that, if you could just connect your Xbox account to your Nintendo account and just play that way, I think that would be perfect. But yeah, what you said, I think is very much more likely. The next Switch is capable of running Call of Duty games at very low settings, and they actually port the game to Switch.
So the only way I would be interested in it is if they have cross-platform play, because I do not want to be in empty lobbies on Switch in like a year.
That's interesting. I don't think there would be empty lobbies at all.
Then I don't. Oh, on Switch, really?
Yeah, the reason I'm saying that is up until, I don't know, they may have closed it now, but about a year ago, Jack and I were playing Call of Duty on Wii U, and we were still getting lobbies.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I had Call of Duty on the Wii, like, shortly after it came out, and I never, ever once found a match. Ever.
That might just be more, I mean, I think that might be more of a time and place thing. The Wii really wasn't up to stuff with, servers and online multiplayer stuff at the time. That, like the Wii U and the Switch now is. I think there's some interesting avenues that had I been there, I would have definitely asked to see if I could get them go on the record, because I really would love to know if Call of Duty Mobile counts. Call of Duty Mobile is huge, and they have millions of people play it on phones. And one of the things that's restricted on phones is controls, because they're trying to stop cheaters and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. because there's so many, so many different phones, so many different providers, so many different things they can account for. I honestly think if they brought Call of Duty Mobile to Switch with full controller support, it would actually be a system seller. I mean, people would buy consoles to play it.
Interesting.
So I wonder if that would count. Also, I think Warzone would count, and I think that'd probably be the thing. If you're asking me to guess, that'd probably be the thing I'd say first. I bet Call of Duty Warzone comes to Switch first. It's free to play, like Apex. And I think they could probably port that to Switch now. So I think that would be the thing that I look for first. And then maybe they do there's also a Warzone mobile version coming. I think all three of those products could really be a thing. I also think backwards compatibility could be a thing. They could grab a few of those remasters that they've done. They've remastered Call of Duty Modern Warfare, was it 4? And the other one, and they could bring both of those over and sell them. So I think there's a lot of avenues here to make Call of Duty on Switch, or the new thing on Switch, to make it a thing. I hope it's not Ubisoft cloud versions, because the Ubisoft cloud isn't very good. It's not a good cloud experience.
Yeah. So I've heard.
That would be the worst case scenario in my mind.
Yeah. Personally, I don't have any interest in buying a Call of Duty game until Bobby Kotick is held responsible and is no longer with the company. I will not. I think Battlefield is the better first-person shooter game. But that being said, I do like the prop hunt game in Call of Duty.
Nice.
That's a lot of fun.
I've personally been off on Battlefield since Bad Company. It's been a long time since I've really liked a Battlefield game. I'm one of those Call of Duty.
I've only played
folks.
4.
Okay. Yeah, like the last one was an absolute shit show. Yeah. It's a real mess. They're slowly turning around. They're starting to get some people back, but it was a disaster. Call of Duty's been eating Battlefield's lunch for the last few releases.
Yeah.
Well, and especially
I will not be giving Activision Blizzard a cent until.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. And I think many of us are hopeful that this deal is what leads to that outcome, because there doesn't look like there's a path for that outcome to come outside of this deal.
Yeah, it's very, very disgusting and disappointing that how much got swept away. But regardless, Call of Duty, more games is good.
Yeah, more games is good.
This is kind of odd. Nintendo announced a direct for next month, March 9th. It's going to reveal the final Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer. I think this is pretty far out for them to announce it. It was like 2 weeks out that they announced this movie trailer direct. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird instead of just doing it. They stress that the direct is solely focused on the movie, will not include any game information. Of course, they have to say that because otherwise we'd be expecting a tease for a game. Yeah. The movie will no longer debut in March in Europe, as previously suggested. Universal Pictures has rescheduled the film's release date to April in various countries. I didn't even know that it was supposed to come out in March in Europe. Isn't it April something for the US?
I honestly don't know. I don't know when it's supposed to come out at all. That was just in the news article that I was reading about it.
Interesting.
Because I'm not planning to go see it. I haven't been following the release dates and stuff.
Okay. Interesting that the last trailer will be like a whole month and a half before the movie comes out.
They've done this with Nintendo Direct marketing before, and they've highlighted and showcased like non-video game things before, right? Haven't they done this with like the theme park or other things that they've
had, like, they have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
Yeah. There's a rumor that a new red Super Mario themed Switch bundle will be coming on March 10th, Mario Day. This is, I believe, the same bundle that Japan got like way back in like 2017. Yep. And I was so mad that those beautiful red Joy-Con were not available in the United States. Mm-hmm. It was Japan only. So it looks like now they're finally bringing it over. Makes sense.
They said it's going to include, it'll be the red system. It'll include Mario Odyssey as a digital code. And apparently it may have some sort of movie thing. I don't know, like a pre-order on a ticket or something. It might be included. So if they're doing that direct the day before, that announcement probably comes in that direct, I'd imagine. But they said no gaming thing, so maybe they're just going to do like a press release or something.
I didn't even realize that it was the day before Mario Day, the movie trailer. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. March 9th. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Apparently it's supposed to include some stuff, so it's not going to be an OLED. It's going to be a regular Switch.
It is?
I think so, yeah.
What?
That's all the reporting that I've seen is going to be the base Switch model.
Why? Who would buy that?
Well, I don't remember. I can click on the rumor. I want to say I thought the rumor said it was going to be $300, $299. Yeah, $299. So $299, you get a regular Switch bundle. You get the Mario Odyssey game. you get the console, and you get maybe a ticket to the movie or something, or a discount, a coupon. For $300, that's not too bad. For factoring the cost of the game. But how many people?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want a regular Switch.
How many people interested in a Switch don't have Odyssey? Like, you're really catering to like somebody that has no Switch at all yet.
Yeah.
How many of those exist? There can't be many, right? Yeah, there can't be many.
I could see people getting this just for the Joy-Con.
Yes. Now, they're always, us Nintendo fans, we're crazy and dumb like that. There will be people that get it just for the Joy-Cons, 100%. If they didn't already import them, like I did. I already got the Joy-Cons. So, yeah, there will be people that get them just for the Joy-Con. That's for sure. Or there's just Mario collectors. There'll be people just get it because it's Mario and they want to put the Mario box on the shelf. That'll be a thing, too.
Yeah. We kind of knew this was coming, but Nintendo confirmed to The Verge that it will not be attending E3 this year. Their quote, "We approach our involvement in an event on a case-by-case basis and are always considering various ways to engage with our fans. Since this year's E3 show didn't fit into our plans, we have made the decision not to participate. However, we have been and continue to be a strong supporter of ESA and E3.
Doesn't sound like it.
E3's dead. E3's so dead.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it'll continue on. I just think it's the E3
okay, but
that
it's
we
dead.
know
like it's
and
dead.
love is dead.
Yes, it's dead. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah.
I mean, who
it's
cares?
It's gonna be PAX. It's just gonna be a little place where you can go and play video games, and like Ubisoft will show up and show off a game or something like that, and indies, and I'm sure
Ubisoft.
Devolver will still be there, and I will still stream the Devolver show. But yeah, like the platform providers won't be there, and they won't be doing their showcases, and it doesn't sound like they're going to do it anymore. I told you this when we were talking about directs, I don't know how many episodes ago, where I've been feeling like I thought like last year was the time that Nintendo took their chance to like separate the expectation from them from being in that E3 season. And I felt like for a while I've been like, you remember I kept saying it last year. I was like, I don't think they're going to do that in June. Like it just didn't for whatever reason, I just didn't have the vibe that they wanted to do that. And they didn't. And I was like, I wonder if this is just like the new normal. Like they're trying to get away from that. Like that doesn't fit our window. We don't want you to have the expectation that we're going to do this. So they're just going to stop. And I see this, like they're getting way out in front of it. They're like, yeah, E3's back, but guess what? We're still not doing that June Direct. Like I'm still like, I don't know if they ever will come back personally. So
I don't know. I don't think they need to, because they can basically do what they want to do on their own terms without it. Like if they want to have that June Direct, they can. If they want to make it May instead, they can. If they want to make it July instead, they can.
Yep.
I think this is just them, doing, what they want to do. But God,
I was gonna say the benefit to them is they don't have a deadline. So for years they had a deadline because we all knew there was a direct in June, and they were working towards it. And the developers had to have slices and they had to have it prepared. Now they don't. They literally can just do it whenever they want. We know we're gonna get one at some time between June and September. There's gonna be one, but there is no expectation that it has to be done that week. And think
they don't
that's
feel like it has to stand out from Sony and Microsoft
the industry,
as much.
Yeah. I think that's what they want. They're like, this is better. We'll do it when we're ready to do it, and not because we have to be there June 8th, Yeah.
Ryan writes in, do you think Nintendo will still have a direct around E3, even with them confirming they won't be there? I think yes, but around E3 is very loose. I think they will still have a direct sometime between May and late July.
Oh, okay. No, I would agree with that. Yeah, I think what he's saying is like around E3.
Like,
and I would say no.
Early to mid-June.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be around E3. I don't think they're going to.
Probably
not.
At
best, I mean, at some point they'll do like an indie show or a partner showcase. I think they could put something like that together. But no, I don't think there will be an E3 like digital event from Nintendo this year. I think at best you're looking July or August.
I could definitely see an indie direct around that time, maybe like late May, early June. That being said, though, we don't really know their plans for the second half of the year after Pikmin. So I think they will need to have something around them.
I don't think we're going to get a direct until after Pikmin.
Really? What day is
really
Pikmin?
Do.
Pikmin.
It's July something.
July 21st. So yeah, we could be looking at late July for a direct. I think that's the latest. The
reason that I kept bringing that up last year is I really feel like Nintendo wants to get to a space where they do a spring direct and like a pre-fall direct. Like they want to have that like New Year direct that they do, and then they want to have that direct as they head into the holiday season. And I think that's really that's like the schedule that they're trying to get to. And they can sprinkle in events throughout the years we've seen. They can have an indie show or partner showcase and Pokemon things and things like that. But like the directs that we all know and love, I think they're trying to save those for the kickoff the new year in spring. And here's what we're doing up until the summer. And then they have another one. They come back and they hit you with, here's what we're doing this holiday season. And that's it. Like that's the cadence that I'm expecting from them.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah. And I think people will be itching for one around May, June, and it will probably be like an indie.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think we'll get an indies direct probably, I would guess, in May. I think we'll get like a partner showcase maybe in June or July. Like they may take into account like that E3 hype and they start showing off like, hey, all those Devolver games you know about, they're also coming to Switch. You know, they may take a time to highlight their own partner stuff. Maybe there's some ports out there they're floating around that we don't know about. And then, yeah, they'll get the Pikmin. Because we've seen the marketing for a long time now has been they market the next game. And that's it. They just focus on the next game. And I think Breath of the Wild is going to give them a long leash where they can just talk about Breath of the Wild for a bit.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think so too. And then John32 wants to know, do you think they return to E3 in 2024 to show off the Switch 2?
I would love to say yes. I love E3, and I want the E3 that I grew up loving to be a thing. But I've lost all hope. As much as I've tried to will this into existence, my answer is no. I don't think so. I don't think they have to. When they launched the Switch, they were like, here's a tweet, and we're showing you a commercial tomorrow. And the internet lost its mind. I don't think the world is the way that we grew up with it anymore. It's just not that way anymore. And I don't think they have to show it off at E3. Would I be surprised if they were there? No. They may want to have they may want to have hands-on impressions at E3. Maybe they have some show floor space. But I'm not expecting it at E3. I'm not expecting them to be there.
Same. I think it really depends on what the rest of the industry is doing next year for E3. And I think if it's like this year and they would be like the only main, the big three there, I don't think they would for a console reveal. I think they would want to make sure as many eyes are on it as possible.
And they can do those hands-on impressions wherever and whenever. It's not their only option. They could do it at Gamescom. They could do it at PAX. They could do it in Japan. There's all kinds of different places for them to, if they want to have hands-on impressions and do some marketing, there's 1,000 places that they can do that at.
So true.
Yeah.
So to wrap up the news for this week, we have some major releases from the past week. We talked a little bit about Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. You're enjoying your time with it. It's sitting at a nice 79 on Metacritic right now. A lot of new content. I think this is one that I see a lot of people using their, what are those passes called? The vouchers? Vouchers on. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then Octopath Traveler 2 also released the same day. It's sitting at an 86, which is that higher than the first game was?
I don't know. And that's a high score. It's a high score. So people must really be liking it.
Yeah, it is higher. Octopath Traveler is at 83. They're both pretty close.
Nice.
Yeah, so fans of Octopath Traveler 1 are probably very happy. Yeah. Are you ready for Shaq questions directly from you?
Directly to you. With Minish Cap now on Switch and so many more people getting to experience the game for the first time, how does it feel to have this many more people playing your namesake? Have you noticed an uptick in your social media engagement as a result?
No, I'm not getting an uptick in social media engagement as a result of this, but it is so cool to see more people playing the Minish Cap. This was one of the most undersold Zelda games because it came out so late in the Game Boy Advance's life. And I think a lot of people are playing it for the first time. I saw a lot of people streaming it on Twitch, was really cool to see. I think people are finally understanding how charming this game is. And a lot of people assume it's my favorite Zelda game. It's not, but it is very special to me. And I recommend everybody play it because it is so damn good.
You would have to think that this would be up for like one of the next remaster treatments, like remakes.
Maybe. I don't know. I think the Oracles
so far
maybe.
out there. Oracles is a good one. Like I feel like the next Link's Awakening could be like a Minish Cap type of thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a new 2D Zelda.
Me too. No, I would as well. Jay writes in, having a good sim racing game is something the Switch is still lacking, along with Madden. With this new Microsoft agreement, will we see a Forza game on the Switch? A lot of people are asking questions about Xbox games coming to Switch.
What's a sim racing game?
So you've got like in the racing genre, people probably lop most games into maybe three categories. You've got arcade racers, be like Cruisin', Horizon Chase Turbo, like arcade racers, anything you play back, like Outrun, Daytona USA, things like that. Kart racers, you probably just throw all those together as kart racing because it's its own thing. And then sim racers, and that's any sort of like simulated driving experience, something that's closer to being realistic, right? So like in the sim racer, you have like Forza Motorsport, whereas Forza Horizon is an arcade racer, or a sim racer would be like Gran Turismo. So yeah, and the Switch does not have, I think maybe Grid is on Switch, and Grid is probably as close as you're going to get to like a true sim racer on Switch. And Grid on Switch is pretty good, but the majority of Switch games are arcade racers, and they're really good though. There's some really good ports. All the Need for Speeds on Switch are great. Cruisin's great. Burnout's great. Burnout's really good on Switch, actually. It's a really good port.
I think I like arcade racers and kart racers more. What would Beetle Adventure Racing be considered? Would that be an arcade racer?
Yeah, it'd be an arcade racer.
Yeah, I like those.
Like a kart racer.
It's not really a kart racer.
No, it's kind of.
You can't use items or anything.
Yeah. Oh, I can't see. Says, what is a World Rally Classic, WRC? I actually know about this game because recently it was on sale for like $2.50, and I bought it. And I didn't talk about it because, Rebecca, it's one of the worst Switch ports I've ever played.
Oh, no.
It's one of those. It's terrible. It's really, really bad. And World Rally Classic should be a sim racer, like you would expect it to be. It's meant to be true to the racing rally style of racing. And
I've never even heard of it.
The port is real bad. I mean, it's real bad. I was like,
I'll avoid it.
Yeah. But yeah, I would like to see no. And the answer to the question, no, there's no Forza game coming to Switch. Maybe that Forza mobile game. There's no Forza game that can run on Switch outside of them bringing again the Game Pass app that you could stream. That would be excellent. I don't think
anybody wants it on Switch.
Well, I think if you could stream it, I definitely think people would be playing Forza. It's a very popular game. It's one of the best racing games in the world. If you could stream it, people would play it. But they're not going to play a native. That would be so cut down. That'd be such a bad experience. Yeah, nobody wants that. Yarden asks, which B is best? Bears, Beats, Battlestar Galactica.
Is this a reference to something?
The Office. Yeah.
Oh, bears. Bears are one of my favorite animals. I like black bears. I like panda bears.
Yeah, that
I like
red
grizzly
panda
bears. Bear. I like sun bears. Red pandas are actually closer to raccoons than bears.
They're so cute.
They're so cute, but they're not bears.
I think of you every time I see one on TikTok. It pops in my feed, and I
do love them. Wait, I need to show you something. I've had this bear since I was a kid.
Oh, it's cute.
I love
and
bears.
It would be Beats as in the vegetable shiv, not Beats as in Beats by Dre.
I don't like beets. They're gross.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah. So
I like polar bears too. Save the bears.
G-Man writes, Puyo, Puyo, Puyo. What is something you love about the Kirby games?
I like Kirby the character. He's very cute.
I do love Kirby the character. I love the charm. I love his animations. They're so cute. But I mean, I love the power ups, and I love when Kirby feels. My favorite Kirby games are when Kirby feels especially powerful, and I think this latest game does that. I think Forgotten Land did that. Kirby Planet Robobot did that. Those are my favorite Kirby games.
I like the music.
Yeah, very good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kirby games are excellent. People hate on them for no reason. Like, they are really, really good. Kirby's Dream Land 3D on 3DS. Now you've got the hack, you should try that out too, because it's very good. Yep. Dragon Mouth Forge writes in, wife and I were talking about the performance of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and she said, hey, idea. What if Game Freak was building to a more powerful Switch that Nintendo assured Game Freak would be out when the games came out? Thoughts?
Wishful thinking. They don't care.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I would think the reason, I think this is really nice cover fire for Game Freak, but I think what really shoots this down is the assumption that Scarlet and Violet needs better hardware to run better.
No.
that's where this argument really starts to fall apart, because there's no reason for this game to run like that.
It could be so much better on Switch. It could look gorgeous on Switch. Have you seen games like Xenoblade 3? Have you seen Metroid Prime Remastered? Like, no.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, it's just the developer. It's just the developer. That's all. AJ, what other Xbox titles could come to Switch as well? Halo Wars? Fable would be pretty cool. Are there any Xbox games you would like to see come to Switch at some point, Rebecca?
I want to know why Hi-Fi Rush didn't come to Switch.
That is an excellent choice, because that is an excellent game. It's very, very well done. And maybe it will. You never know.
I don't even care to play it. I'm just like kind of pissed off that it didn't come.
Why are you pissed? They didn't. It's a Tango game. It's a Bethesda game. They're owned by Xbox. Why would they piss you off?
I know. Because they're like so like, oh my god, we want to put our games
Tango
on
hasn't
all the
shipped
consoles.
any game to Switch ever.
It's Bethesda published it.
Correct. There are very few Bethesda games that have made it over, but I mean, I think you're making a fair point.
I thought Microsoft is saying we want our games to be for everyone. We want our games to be on all the consoles. Look at how like
I like this.
For
this
the
is
gamers
fun.
we are.
So let's argue. So are you so in your I'm trying to think of the right word.
What Bethesda game has come to Switch since Microsoft acquired it?
The Outer Worlds.
That wasn't since the Switch, since Bethesda acquired it. Wasn't that before?
I don't know. I think it was post acquisition. But I like your kind of mocking commentary here. XPS says Doom Eternal. That's good. So let me ask you this. I mean, there's no argument that Xbox is like the most open, attainable, available platform for games. Their games are literally almost everywhere. You can play them on your phone. You can play every one of them on PC. You can play them on your Xbox consoles. You can stream them on older Xbox consoles. They're now on NVIDIA GeForce Now. I mean, just because they're not on Switch and PlayStation doesn't mean that they're lying to you.
I'm talking about since, for people in chat, I'm talking about since Bethesda's acquisition. Or
yeah, the Quake Remaster is a good one. They did do the Quake Remaster, and I bought it on Switch.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's really good.
I was just asking. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is my answer.
Hi-Fi Rush is a really good answer. I think that's a Switch-like game. And if they want to port it, I think they could. I still want them to put... I mean, I want Game Pass. I want the Game Pass app. I don't care if it's streaming only. I want them to be able to put the Game Pass app on Switch. And let me play Game Pass on my Switch like I can on my phone. And I just think the Switch is a much better, device for that. That's what I really want.
People are bringing up all these examples. I was talking about their recent acquisitions of Bethesda and all their recent ones. Like, I'm not talking about acquiring Mojang Studios like 15 years ago. I'm talking about like the recent ones in this generation. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I really don't think I have. Like, I don't want the new Fable on Switch. Halo Wars would be fine, I guess. Like Gears Tactics, maybe. I just want Game Pass. Game Pass would be my answer. I want to stream all
Rare
of my games.
replay.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And if they were to do another remaster with one of those franchises, that would also be good. And if this deal goes through and they get access to new games like Diablo and Crash, like I hope they all continue to be published to Switch. I would prefer to play Diablo 4 on Switch. It's not currently announced for Switch. I'm assuming the port will be made, but I'm assuming it'll come to Switch, a year or two after it releases. But I played Diablo. I think the most I've ever played Diablo was Diablo 3 because it was on Switch. I like that game in a portable form more than I do sitting in front of my TV and playing it. So, Sleepy Gamer wants to know, if one were to start playing Breath of the Wild, and when Tears of the Kingdom comes out and they bounce and play that, what are 3 or 5 experiences that you would recommend they make sure they do in Breath of the Wild before they bounce?
Wait, I'm not sure I understand the question. So they're playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, but they're not sure that they're going to be able to...
What are things that you tell everybody they have to do in Breath of the Wild before they play Tears of the Kingdom, assuming they're not going to finish all of Breath of the Wild? Let's say somebody just boots up Breath of the Wild for the first time. What are your things, like, you've got to do this first before you move on to Tears of the Kingdom?
I think you need to do all 4 of the Divine Beasts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, this is to get like the full experience.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I was thinking I was going in a different direction, but yeah, please continue.
Okay. I mean, here's what I would do before playing Tears of the Kingdom. You have plenty of time. Find all of the memories and get kind of the full picture of the story with the memories. I don't know. What are your answers? You're like looking at me like I'm being weird.
I don't mean to influence you in any way, but yeah. So in my mind, I wasn't even, so like, I think I kind of get, I just read the question differently. So like, I would tell them like, hey, just go YouTube the memories. Don't waste your time trying to find them all in this giant world if you're not going to beat the whole game. So in my mind,
why even play the game if you're not going to do it?
In my mind, I was thinking like the first thing that comes to mind is like Eventide Island. Like, you've got to do that. Like, it's such a cool experience, and it's so like Breath of the Wildy, and it shows you so much of the game. Like, in my mind, I was like, you've got to do that. The other thing that I was going to say is you've got to kill a Guardian. Like, you've got to go full toe-to-toe, play the game enough to be strong enough to actually take on a Guardian. You were like taking it like, you need to, like, how do you capture as much from Breath of the Wild as possible so you're ready to play the new game? I was just thinking of like the experiences. The Master Sword is a good one. And then what's the village that you build? A whole quest line? That would be my other one. That would be my other one.
John, but you should play the game. Yeah. Just go pour like 80 hours into Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and you'll be good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, those are.
But like, I don't think like we should be telling, like, I feel like the beauty of Breath of the Wild is like it's your experience. Like, I don't think it's like part of the intention of the game is like to tell somebody like how to play the game. Like, you need to do these things. Like, I feel like it's your experience. Like, I don't think you should like listen to what we just said and be like, oh, let me like write all these down and make sure I do all of these. Like, that's a bad way to play Breath of the Wild. I think you should just play it and experience it how you play it.
Yeah, it's a canvas. Paint it.
Like, it's all about the discovery. Like, if you said, like, Eventide Island, and he's like, what's Eventide Island? And then he Googles it and is like, I need to go here on the map. Like, that's ruining the experience for me. Like, because then you know what to expect. And, like, you're like, I don't know. I think
you're right. I agree with you.
Eventide Island is, like, accidentally stepping foot there and realizing what it is.
The beauty of Zelda in particular is just adventure. And that's what Breath of the Wild brought back to the series in such a way that I think has been missing for so long. So I actually think I agree with you. Like, it's adventure. Get off the plateau and go somewhere. Like, pick a direction.
That's our advice.
Go.
Brendan.
Yeah. Matt asks, Rebecca recently mentioning liking rhythm games a lot more than she actually thought she did. What are some games or genres that you learned to appreciate later in life? And are there any series or genre you could see yourself growing into even later in life?
JRPGs. The only JRPG that I played growing up was Pokemon.
Yeah, but you love Chrono Trigger.
Well, that was the gateway. I didn't play that as a kid. I played that for the first time in 2020.
Oh,
That was the gateway for me.
just like wrecked my brain. I thought you've grown up loving Chrono Trigger your whole life. Wow. Okay, my bad.
I played, and that was the gateway for me. That I played Chrono Trigger, and then I'm like, wow, maybe I do like RPGs. And then I played like Secret of Mana, and then I played Mario RPG, and then I played all these other JRPGs, and now I love JRPGs. So I didn't appreciate that until later in life.
Solid.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have one really. I play a lot of games across a lot of different genres. I always have. I would tell you, I feel like I'm more open.
Earthbound. Yeah.
I'm more into games with puzzles now than I was when I was younger. I used to be just way more action focused, and if a game had a lot of puzzles, I'd get bored and stuff like that. Whereas now, like, I really like them, and I'll go out of my way not to, like, if I'm really stumped, like, I won't look up a guide. Like now, I kind of like the mental challenge of like, no, I'm gonna figure this out. So I think I'm like that, but that's not like really a genre, and I don't really play puzzle games. A series? I don't know. I really don't. I'm sorry, Matt. I don't really have a good answer. I mean, with everything you ebb and flow and you find new things. Like I play way more racing games now than I used to. I never used to really be all into racing games. Now I play a ton of racing games. Yarden says, you think we can still get Donnie into roguelikes? The funny thing is there are certain roguelikes that I do like. Every now and again, I think it depends on the combat. If the combat loop gets me, and if it's not like brutally hard, and also like the progression. If the progression is either short or you don't lose everything, those are the parts of the roguelikes that I have a hard time with. Like the games, it's like you start completely over, I'm out. I don't like that at all. But when you play something that has like loops, like Lamb Game, all about it. Like was addicted to that game, was all about it. Yeah, it's this baby roguelike. Yeah, I'm maybe more into that than the actual roguelikes.
I can't think of any game that, like any kind of genre that I feel like maybe someday I would get really into, just because like looking at options for genres, the ones that I don't like just seem like unappealing to me. But maybe that's because I haven't played the right one yet. Like I don't think I would get into like strategy games or whatever, but who knows? Like maybe someday I would. I don't know.
You find the right IP, you find the right story, the right character, and you're all in. Honestly, I think my answer might be Metroidvania games. When I grew up, I didn't like them. Like I just downright didn't like them, and now I play them. I still don't. They're not like I don't have a huge affinity for them, but I play more of them now than I ever did before, and I like them. Yeah. I play them. Obik says, has there been a game that you returned to after several years and were surprised to find it still holds up much better than you expected? This week I've been playing Mario Kart Wii, which is an excellent game. For the first time since having 8. The Wii holds up much better than I thought it would.
I feel like it's the exact opposite for me. One time I booted up Mario Kart Wii, like after having like 100 hours in Mario Kart 8, and I'm like, this is horrible. This is a horrible experience. So Hobie, I'm glad that you thought differently. I was like, wow, like I played a ton of this. Like, how did I do that? No. I get scared sometimes to go back to games from my childhood because
I think it's fair.
I've had experiences like that where I have booted them up again and it was not good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like I definitely thought this was a great game when I was a kid.
Like, I love this game.
I will say a couple weeks ago, I did boot up Pokemon Stadium because I was like looking for something in the game. I wanted to like fact check something, and that game holds up. I love that game.
Yeah. I'll just echo your statements. There've been me. I'll go back and replay old games all the time. And there's been a ton of times I've went back to play something that I thought I loved and then be like, the hell was I thinking? And it hurts. It ruins, you have all these memories. So you're kind of hesitant. That's why I love remasters and remakes, because it's nice to like bring those memories forward if they can and like let you experience it in a new way. But I don't think I have a game off the top of my head that really, that I've thought about that really fits the bill.
Yeah.
Because I play so many things, and a lot of times when I play things like on purpose, like I'm doing it because I love them. If I'm playing Clock Tower or Max Payne or one of the GTA games or these games that I really love, a lot of times when I go back to them, I'm going back to them because I I think I know that they hold up, that they're good. It's very rarely that I go back to something and I'm like, oh, this is just. It does happen, but it's not like most of the time. I only go back to games that I feel like I really loved. The Wii though is interesting because I was such a homer for the Wii, where I have a lot of nostalgia for the Wii, and I love holding the Wiimote sideways and like getting that old school feeling. And see, I know that a lot of gamers just don't. I know that's the thing. I saw your eyes. So like I know everybody hates Smash on Wii, and I loved it at the time, and I thought it was so much fun. And
at the time,
and I say the same thing for Kart. You know, like there's so many of those games. Yeah,
see, the Wii was the main console. You're gonna like yell at me for aging you, but when I was in middle school, and I feel like the Wii has the same awkward growing pains for Nintendo that I had throughout middle school. Like it's very like, I don't know.
In parallel. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like it's some of the. I think I just like motion controls more than other people. Now, I will tell you, one of my favorite games ever is Wii Sports, and they have done nothing but destroy the franchise ever since.
Oh, yeah. Wii Sports, the original Wii Sports on Wii is so much better than Switch Sports, for sure.
And Wii U Sports. They did that too. It's like at every turn, they've just made it worse. And they are ruining what is an excellent video game. Like Wii Sports 100%. Is a great game. Wii Sports Resort is incredible.
And I feel like that's so odd because I feel like the Switch has like been producing the best versions of franchises games.
Yeah.
And that's so like unfortunate that one was bad.
It's so sad. It's so sad that I'll just play Wii Sports Resort. Like when I play Wii Sports, we just turn on the Wii U and go into Wii mode. And we just play the old school because it's like, this is way better. This is so much, and it still holds up. That's how sad it is. It still holds up. Like the golfing and the tennis, it's so much better. That'll get me started. Don't get me on that rant.
Yeah.
Al writes in, do you think Zelda, as in Princess Zelda, as opposed to, what was the... I get it. Could be playable in Tears of the Kingdom. By the way, my name is Al, and I am not an AI.
I think you called him AI last week.
Because I think his name just had A and lowercase L next to each other.
You thought it was an I.
I didn't know if it was an I or an L. So so Al wants to know, do you think Zelda could be playable?
No.
I agree with you. I think this one, you've always been spot on. I think we've been talking about this for years together, and I think you've always been spot on with this one.
There's nothing in everything they've shown that suggests she will even be with us for more than a small portion of the game.
I really feel like Nintendo doesn't want to go down that road.
From
all the times that I've heard them talk about it, they really kind of dismiss it. Like when they actually get asked and they go on record, they're like, I don't understand why people keep thinking that. Like they really go out of their way to like.
I don't want her to be playable.
Oh, I actually would. I think it'd be fun, but I don't think Nintendo wants that at all.
Give me a spin-off with her instead.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be down for that. Nathan writes, if Zelda is alive and playable. So continuing, what kind of weapons or items would we like to see her use?
So I know the obvious answer is using magic and like using the Sheikah Slate and stuff, but if we're just like assuming that she's playable and alive, which she is neither of those things.
She's very dead.
She's very dead. I would like to see her try combat the same way that Link does with
I love you.
Weapons.
Yes.
And have
we
her.
don't have to change her.
She wouldn't be great at first. Maybe she'd be very underpowered at first, but then as throughout the course of the game, maybe she gets better.
I love you so much. Yes, that's the answer. We don't have to change the combat because she's a girl.
No, it would not
Girls
be a
could
Zelda
swing
game.
swords and shit just like, and it would be a weird game. If all the weapons change, it's Breath of the Wild. You can play it, you can pick up anything and fight with it. So I wouldn't change the combat at all.
Yeah, same.
Second question, what ways could the Zelda team improve NPC interactions, side quests, and choice-based consequences that improve relations, unlock secrets, items, quests further as you gain rep?
I think the best Zelda game for NPC interactions was Majora's Mask. And that's because of the time cycle and having them have their own. I know you don't like the time cycle, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying like because they followed their own schedule and they, you know, it wasn't like they were just standing in one place for the whole 3 days. Like most Zelda games, like the NPC is generally just like if they do move around, it's like in a very it's like in a box, right? They don't like, you know, move around or go places. And I think that, you know, they're not going to obviously have a 3-day cycle in Tears of the Kingdom, but if, you know, they have more of a set schedule that they follow daytime and nighttime, you know, I think that would improve the NPC interactions where like maybe somebody says something different if you talk to them in the morning versus in the middle of the night, you know, and that has to do with quests. And I lost what I was going to say for the second part of that. And it was really good too. It was really good.
My favorite NPC interactions in any Zelda game, and my favorite one, the example that I would use would be Ocarina, is I like when NPC interactions compound on themselves and work their way in and out of quests. So I like trade sequences and things where you involve multiple different people in multiple different places, things like Tarrytown. So I would just want way more of those.
Yeah, I like the trade sequences as long as it's not like a one single NPC fetch quest. I don't like the ones where like, you know, somebody in the village says, oh, you know, I really need 10 apples to finish this cake, you know, or whatever. And then you have to go get 10 apples or whatever. But like, then if she gave me something and is like, oh, like, thank you for helping me. And if you could really give this letter to my cousin in the next town over, you know, she'll help you find a horse.
I think I agree with you. It's not the one-to-one where you're following a linear path. Like, so the programmer in me wants to say like if then statements, right? I want to interact. If you interact with this NPC, then these results happen, and it can change the way you interact with future NPCs and other things. I want them to be complex. I want them to compound. So I think it'd be because that's what leads to the really cool discovery moments. And that's what I remember from Ocarina is where you start to get like those playground moments. Like, hey, did you know if you talk to this person, then all of a sudden you can say this to this other person? And if you keep going, then suddenly you get this thing. That's the stuff that I love about NPCs more than anything else.
Me too.
Because if it's just dialogue, a lot of times I'll just skip through because it's not that I don't care. It's just, it's got to be consequential. If it's memorable, like if the character's like really outlandish or something, then I totally want to sit down and listen to what they have to say. Or if I'm getting some sort of information, then yeah. But if it's just dialogue for dialogue's sake, it's not inconsequential, it's not memorable, then I don't care. So that's a way of making me care, is to make it tie into other things.
Like it's very stereotypical when I talk to an NPC and like they're only there to teach me about something in the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, neither do I. Same. Our last question comes from Drew, and he says, we know the next Switch will be able to run games better with newer technology. So other than power, how can Nintendo improve on the experience for Switch 2?
I mean, how long have we been asking for things like a better online friend adding system, things like that? How long have we been asking for a more curated eShop? How long have we been asking for more themes? How long have we been asking for, you know, all these things?
Rebecca's got a list. I want a D-pad. Like
I
would start there. I would start very first thing we're going to start with. We're going to start with a damn D-pad.
Yeah,
put a D-pad
and a good D-pad,
not on the controller,
not the one that's on the Pro controller.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
A good D-pad.
I'm telling you, it's my favorite thing about my new Joy-Cons is that they've got a D-pad. You know.
Oh, that's a good D-pad.
Touchscreen. Yeah, it's got a D-pad. I really hope we get Tears of the Kingdom versions of these. I want to buy a Zelda set of these.
With stylus, that's a good one.
Stylus, that's not bad. You could write and draw on. I don't think I would do that a whole lot, but if they did, they could do some of their touchscreen stuff again.
That's a good one that Maddie said, being able to plug your headphones into your controller.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's almost basic. That's a really good one. I think themes is good. I mean, I would get rid of their whole app thing, and I don't think they're going to, but I would. Like the whole mobile thing companion, like just put that on the system. Get rid of all of it. Whatever you want to do, just stop trying to make people use their phones to do it.
Backwards compatibility and tied purchases to our Nintendo account.
Yeah. I want to redo. I don't want the dock. I want like a cradle. I don't want the dock.
What's a cradle?
Do you have like a 3DS like charging cradle?
No.
It's just a cradle, like something smaller, slimmer, lower profile. Where you can just set your Switch into it and it connects.
That's a dock. That's the same thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't want the dock with the giant face plate and it doesn't need to be that big. It doesn't need to be remotely that big. The profile of the current dock could be slimmed down like 80% if you wanted to just focus on the internals. I just think it looks cleaner. I think it was a nicer look, personally.
Street Pass. I would love Street Pass to come back.
Street Pass would be amazing. Street Pass alone would be a day one purchase. They're like, here's your Switch, and it has Street Pass. I'd be like, yep.
Ooh, activity log. XPS said activity log, and like actual like specific,
We don't have an activity log?
Well, if you go into a game, your profile, it could say like, oh, you've played Breath of the Wild for 35 hours or more. So like that could be 39
they do
hours.
have.
I'm like, that's
right.
stupid.
They have like, there's like a.
And I can't see my most played
things.
games. I can't see, I think the Wii U had a really good activity log. So did 3DS.
Did. And I think that's, that's why people like that end of the year wrap up stuff that Nintendo has been doing with their online profiles. People like that a lot because you can see all the hours you've been playing. It's really weird with that activity log. The way that works on Switch is because Jack will share my profile so he can play the same games that I can on his Switch. So like, let's say I put 100 hours into Breath of the Wild. Jack will then play Breath of the Wild on his Switch, and it'll like reduce the hours to like 5 because the timer on his Switch is different than mine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that way.
When I did my system transfer, it messed up all my hours.
Yeah. So you're good.
I can't see that now. Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, I think the friends, lobbies, parties, just online integration, they're just way behind. I don't mind the eShop a whole lot. I mean, it's slow. I mean, it could be. I don't know what to do about that because they're just like loading this giant SQL library of titles. Honestly, I'd prefer if the Switch eShop just loaded to the website. Let's just bypass this mess and like get me to where I need to go because the website is so good. But you would hope that a new system would come with a better experience in that regard. You would hope.
Yeah.
Themes would be a dream.
Yeah.
How long have we had Switch? Was it 6 years?
Like not even like other colors. Like we have black and white. Like
basic white.
I can understand if they don't want to slow down the menu. Like I get it. I get why. But like they made me think that like it was gonna have like blue, red, green.
Yeah, we didn't get anything. And it's so dumb because they have like their icon customizer. You can customize icons with NSO, but you can't change the wallpaper. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, D-pad would be the first. Or the joypad in general, like the Joy-Con, like maybe giving them some grip and not being so flat, making me a little ergonomic, a little wrist pad, a little curvature.
I hope I can still use my old Joy-Con on the new Switch though, because I have a lot of them. Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
What am I supposed to do when I upgrade my Switch and I'm playing all my games? What am I supposed to do? I have like all these freaking Joy-Con, Donnie. I have so many of them.
You just like, well, I was like, whoa. I don't know. I mean, my expectation is that if they improve the Joy-Con design, which I hope they would after as much hell as it's given them, my expectation is that the new one will be different and you won't be able to use your old ones.
Well, sure, the new one can be different, but if this is the new Switch,
you're just saying the rail. You want the rail to be the same.
Yes, I want the rail to be the same, so I can either put in the new one or I can put in these stupid ass things that I spent a ton of money on because they're cute.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, and they probably will, because back you could use your Wii controllers on Wii U, and like that's been a thing that Nintendo's tried to do for a long time. The Wii had GameCube ports. You probably can do that. Yeah. You just did all that and you made me think of something. Now I forgot what it was.
Sorry.
Yeah, me too. Because it was good too. What if the next Switch, like the next thing when they show it off, What if the screen isn't an OLED?
That would be such a mistake.
But you could see them doing it, right?
No, I can't. That would be such a mistake.
What if the news is like Switch 2 and it's like, but it's a nice screen, but it's not an OLED screen.
That would be so disappointing.
It's a display.
They can't. Don't even say that, Donnie.
I saw that when you snapped it in there, and I was like, oh no.
Don't even say that.
I don't know. I could see it. Yeah, I would love for the next system to have like I've said this for a little bit. I wish it was a more powerful like console component. Like I like the idea of them still doing the Switch, but like I don't know how. I kind of wish there was like a portable option and a home option as opposed to like one thing that does both. I know that's crazy.
That is crazy. I want it to be hybrid. If it's not
in
hybrid,
my head, I'm thinking they sell a Switch Lite like device. Like here's the portable console. It's like a Switch Lite or a Switch, whatever you want to call it. But like, it's like that. Here's the portable one. And then like, here's this like more powerful base station that you can buy also. And if you want to do that, you can, but if you don't, you can still be portable. And like the portable option is like,
this is the portable option. It's here.
I'm just suggesting.
It's here.
I'm suggesting a thing that I'm thinking.
Okay, but also just pointing back to the question, other than power.
Fair enough. Yep, you're right. You got me. So I want a D-pad.
Okay,
and I want it to be OLED.
There we go.
Because it's going to be sad if it's not.
I don't see them taking that away.
I'm sad that I spoke into existence because I think I totally could see them doing it. They'll upgrade it in 4 years.
That would be suicide. No. All right, Koopalings, that is it for this week. We have the Pokemon Presents tomorrow. We'll be sharing that information on our social media about whether it's so awesome or wow, that's it. Hopefully it's the former. Is there anything else exciting coming up this week? I don't think there's any big releases.
Not on my radar. No.
I don't think so
I'm pretty
either.
set until what? Advance Wars? Not Advance Wars. What's next?
What?
There's something else. It's not Advance Wars. What's the next game?
Oh. You're not
Advance Wars
getting
is April.
Bayonetta Cereza, are you?
Bayonetta is March. That's correct.
Okay, yeah.
I thought there was another one. It doesn't matter.
And I feel like I should know that.
No.
Whatever.
But I'm good. I'm playing Kirby, playing Metroid, probably playing the same thing next week. I actually
Right.
played another indie game, but I'm just saving it until I'm done playing these.
Ooh. Okay, sounds good.
Cool.
All right, that'll do it for this time, Koopalings. See you next time.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?